Welcome to Kohut's Corner. I'm Mr. Kohut, principal of Swampscott High School. September 15th through October 15th was Hispanic Heritage Month, and joining us to talk about Hispanic Heritage Month is student Danny Soto. Danny, welcome to Kohut's Corner.
Thank you.
You tell us a little bit about Hispanic Heritage Month?
So basically, throughout the whole month, we highlight prominent Latino Americans and their various contributions to our country, as well as we highlight the different cultures and background histories. And that's basically, yeah.
That's great. And you've been doing this in the morning announcements, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are some of the folks you've been highlighting? Because you've been reading biographies of some well-known Latino Americans. Who are some of those folks that you've been highlighting?
So we've highlighted Sonia Sotomayor, which is a well-known judge who grew up in the Bronx, New York. And we also highlighted Shakira, which is a well-known singer, born in Colombia. So it's another one.
That's great. Well, thanks for doing that.
Right,
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
This year, Swampscott High School welcomed a new physics teacher, and we're lucky enough to have him with us. Mr. Mackay, welcome to Kohut's Corner.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
So I've been teaching for 5 years now. I'm coming from Stoneham High School, and I'm happy to be part of the Swampscott community.
That's great. Well, welcome. What classes are you teaching this year?
Honors Physics and ACP Physics. It's going to be very hands-on yet rigorous at the same time, so we're looking to prepare students for potentially a career in STEM fields like engineering.
Can you tell us something unique about your background that perhaps students don't know?
So before I was a teacher, I was actually a meteorologist down in Orlando at NBC News, and that was my original career path, and I made the switch to teaching.
Wow, so Dr. Ratley, listen up, you have a rival. Actually, Mr. Casey too, right? He's also interested in weather.
Yeah.
That's terrific. Well, thanks for joining us, Mr. Mackay, and welcome aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Kohut.
This year, we celebrate 2 students who have earned commended status for the National Merit Scholarship. Welcome Sarah Zanger and Ian Cray. Can you tell the audience a little bit about this scholarship?
The
program,
the National Merit Scholarship Program is a program for people who did well in PSAT score in their PSATs in junior year, as well as just general good academic standing, and it's used for like consideration for colleges, potentially scholarships if you do well enough, and all sorts of other good things.
Sure. So I assume you're both thinking about college right now, right? It's that time of the year.
Yeah.
Where are you thinking about applying to?
I haven't really decided yet. I have a long list, but yeah, I'm trying to stay local, look at some colleges around here.
Sure, you can't do wrong in this area. Right?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about studying?
I don't really know. I like a lot of different things, so I could see myself kind of, going down many different paths, maybe math or English, maybe teaching.
Cool. Yeah, well, we need teachers.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I'm thinking of going not as far away as possible, but pretty close. A lot of schools in California, like Berkeley, UCLA, maybe some Canadian schools like McGill or University of Washington is pretty good.
And you're describing those as not far away?
Not as far away as possible, but pretty far away.
Okay.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll get into some of them, but a lot of them are sort of tough.
Well, good luck and thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
This year, Swampscott High School's own Miss Albert was awarded the prestigious French Teacher of the Year Award by the American Association of Teachers of French. Miss Albert, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you talk maybe a little bit about the importance of learning a world language?
So I always say one of the most important things that I want my students to achieve is not only success in my class, but I want the study of French to open doors for them, whether that means pursuing their study of French in college, studying abroad, which a lot of my former students have done, or even beyond. I have a lot of former students who've done some pretty magnificent things with their languages, with their French. I have a student who just had a Fulbright scholarship for a year, and she taught English in Andorra, and says that she used her French every day. I have 2 former students that are working as English teaching assistants in France this year, and I have another student who wants to study French in college so he can go work for Doctors Without Borders in Africa. So things like that, for me, that's what's really the most important, this idea of like opening doors.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's terrific. If you had to choose one lesson or one unit in French class and describe that as your favorite, what lesson or unit would that be?
I think it's a unit that we do in French 3 on Francophone Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to get the students to think about how the French language really goes beyond sort of like the Eiffel Tower or baguette or chocolate or the typical things that we think about. There are 27 million French speakers in the world, and that's mainly because Africa is just booming in terms of population.
Sure.
There are many Francophone countries in Africa. So in French 3, we do a unit on a movie called Virunga, which is about a national park in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And we get to weave a lot of different themes into that. So, you know, the French that's spoken and the accent, how that's different. Also environmentalism, and the importance of protecting the planet, and just the idea that the Democratic Republic of Congo, a lot of students don't really know much about the country before we do that unit, and they really learn a lot about how much the country has to offer in terms of resources and people and culture. So,
well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, and
Merci beaucoup.
We're so proud of you.
Merci.
Time for a new segment. As many of you know, I'm a former teacher and, a former English teacher and an avid reader. In fact, I'm currently reading 3 books, and that includes an audiobook, so I suppose that's cheating. So it seems appropriate that I highlight some of my favorite reads for each episode. And because it's Halloween season, I thought I would talk about the creepiest book I've ever read, House of Leaves. Now, this book doesn't seem very scary, but I'm going to put it down because it creeps me out. I found myself thinking about it a lot while I was reading it. In fact, I talked about the book in my sleep. And it's perhaps the most unique book I've ever read. It has multiple narratives. Some pages are written backwards, and that meant that I had to hold the book up to a mirror in order to read it. And it's unlike any book that I've ever read. I can't say that I recommend it, but it's certainly the creepiest book I've ever read. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Kohut's Corner. I'll see you back here in a few weeks.